Let's dive right in. Today, we're going to break down the brilliant anatomy of a classic cartoon scam from the beloved show Motu Patlu. We'll be looking really closely at an episode that perfectly illustrates the mechanics of fraud, gullibility, and, well, the absolutely hilarious consequences of greed. It's literally a masterclass in how a con artist operates, hidden right inside a children's cartoon.
So, we have to start with this absolutely absurd question that hooks us right into the story. Can any hen actually lay samosa eggs? I mean, the obvious real-world answer is a resounding no. But in the universe of a cartoon, and more importantly, in the mind of someone totally blinded by their own desires, the impossible suddenly seems entirely plausible. This simple question forms the foundation of the entire con we're about to explore. Section 1. The Magical Samosa Hen, Motu's Ultimate Dream. You know, to understand how any scam works, we first have to look at the target. A good con man always picks someone with a specific vulnerability. And here, we see exactly why the scam works so perfectly on our hero. On one hand, we've got Motu's absolute dream, just an endless supply of samosas where he can eat, sleep, and never lift a single finger. Then, on the other hand, is Patlu, representing grounded reality. He's constantly trying to remind Motu that cooked samosas don't just hatch from raw eggs, right? You actually have to work to earn your keep. Motu, however, well, he is just desperate for a lazy shortcut. Enter our villain, a fake Swami, this self-proclaimed great man. He spots Motu's exact weakness and knows exactly how to manipulate his greed. So he presents the ultimate unbelievable bait, a magical hen that supposedly lays freshly made samosas instead of ordinary eggs. For a completely samosa-obsessed character like Motu, this isn't just a bird. It's literally a one-way ticket to paradise. Section 2. The con man's bizarre conditions, setting the trap. Now, a con is never just about handing over a fake item. It's about building a believable narrative around it. The con man makes his ridiculous lie seem authentic by adding all these bizarre layers of complexity. He gives Motu these absurdly specific, cartoonish instructions. Feed the hen a special samosa on a very specific plate and provide boiled water. By acting like a fake expert, he totally distracts his target. Motu becomes so hyper-focused on getting the so-called ritual right that he completely forgets to pause and question if a samosa-laying hen is even scientifically possible. So, here is the absolutely crucial point, the financial hook. A completely bamboozled Motu drops 6,000 rupees on this magical bird. He's so utterly convinced by the Swami's confident performance, and frankly his own blinding desire for endless food, that he hands over a massive sum of cash without a second thought. And just listen to the hilarious logic Motu uses to justify his massive purchase. He says that by spending this $6,000, he never has to visit the tea cellar again. He even goes as far as buying a 10,000 rupee tiffin carrier to hold all the future samosas he thinks he's going to get. He is entirely convinced his days of putting in any effort are finally over. This right here is a classic hallmark of a successful scam. The victim actually feels like they are the ones getting an amazing deal, completely unaware they've just been robbed blind. Section 3. Greed and the hero's drama. The scam escalates. Because for a true con artist, one victim is never enough. Not content with just tricking Motu out of his 6,000 rupees, the Swami pivots his strategy. He spots a local merchant and decides to target this man's financial greed. To pull this off, the fake Swami stages a little theatrical drama. He purposefully drops fake diamonds on the ground, right in front of the merchant, to immediately catch his attention. And bam, here is where the trap snaps shut. The Swami spins a wild new lie. He desperately tries to convince the merchant that his magic hen accidentally gobbled up his precious stash of real diamonds. By shouting that he would gladly pay 10,000 rupees to get his hen back, the Swami artificially inflates the price of this completely ordinary bird. It's brilliant in a devious way. He's using FOMO, that fear of missing out, to drive the merchant crazy with greed. Suddenly, the fake stakes skyrocket to 10,000 rupees. This perfectly demonstrates a core rule of fraud. A con man will always escalate the lie if they think they can get away with it. The merchant now believes that if he can just get his hands on that hen, he'll be rich. He isn't buying a bird anymore. He thinks he's buying a feathery treasure chest. Section 4. The fake Swami exposed, justice served.
But as we all know, in the fun, chaotic world of cartoons, every fraudulent scheme eventually hits a brick wall.
reality finally crashes down on Motu. Despite the special plates, despite the boiled water, the hen inevitably fails to produce a single samosa. No magic, just ordinary feathers and empty promises. It's this harsh wake-up call that proves Potlu was absolutely right all along. There are no magical shortcuts in life.
So, in a rapid-fire turn of events, an incredibly angry Motu manages to track down the fake Swami. The illusion is totally shattered now. Motu practically throws the bird back at the fraudster, furiously demanding to cancel the transaction and get his hard-earned 6,000 rupees returned immediately.
And of course, because this is Motu Potlu, a simple refund just isn't enough. The whole thing wraps up with a satisfying dose of cartoon justice. Our heroes, realizing they've been taken for a massive ride, launch into a high-speed, classic slapstick chase. They hunt down the fake Swami to ensure he never tricks anyone with a samosa-laying hen ever again. It's chaotic, it's hilarious, and it is the absolute perfect ending to a ridiculous scam.
Which leaves us with this final, fascinating question to ponder. When faced with a too-good-to-be-true shortcut in your own life, are you thinking with your head or your stomach? It's fun to laugh at a cartoon character buying a magic samosa bird, but this episode is actually a brilliant little mirror held up to human nature and gullibility. Con artists rely entirely on our desires overriding our logic. So the next time someone offers you an effortless path to your wildest dreams, maybe just remember Motu's 6,000 rupee hen. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay sharp out there and keep asking questions.